Welcome to the Kreepy Kama Show. I'm with Jinxx. Stay haunted and stay creepy. Hey everybody, Shaun Kama with the Kreepy Kama Show, and I'm here in beautiful Southern California with a good friend of mine, Jinxx, who, among other things and other hats that he wears, he is the guitarist for Black Veil Brides, and that's how I met him originally. Let's hop right into it. The horror and science fiction world has always been kind of important to me and you, and I'm just curious, in terms of episodes, movies, you know, things that you saw as a kid and an adult, what has really been quite impactful for you? Like, can you just give me something off the top of your head?
Let's start with Gremlins. Okay, in 1984. And, you know, I basically watched that in the theaters when it came out. I'm just dating myself. It's fine. Yeah. But you know, and that gave me nightmares. You know,
really, Gremlins did.
Absolutely, Gremlins, and then I think around the same time, maybe a year later, was a film called Critters.
Oh yeah.
And I remember going. I was in preschool at the time. My dad took me to go see this film, and he was all into the sci-fi and the horror films and stuff at the time. And
was he your vehicle into it, kind of?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. And yeah, so, and I remember seeing that film, and I remember going to my class the next day and telling kids and my teachers about this film I saw. I was like, oh yeah, these little monsters that came from outer space, and they're eating people, eating their throats.
Yeah.
And my teachers being like, well, I don't think that was really right. It was a Christian school I was going to.
Yeah, so it was totally inappropriate.
Yeah, they were like, I don't think you should, you know, your parents should be, you know, bring you the film that really scared the hell out of me, and for years, and still does, and I still have nightmares about, Amityville Horror.
The original.
The original.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah,
and the original one, because it's so accurate, based on the original story of the family that lived in this house. That this horrible, terrible mass murder happened in the 70s. This family moved into this house about a year later and experienced all these things.
Ghostly happenings and stuff. Right. Yeah.
And was it ghosts? Were it demons? It was something really, what we say, demonic.
Totally.
And evil and horrible. And so I was already having nightmares about gremlins and critters.
It's just added to the detail, huh?
And so this house we were living in Fort Dodge, Iowa, and I was, you know, about 6 or 7 years old when these events started happening.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you know, it's just like I don't want to believe in the supernatural. I'm a very scientific, very skeptical individual.
Sure.
But there was something there that drove us out of this house. And
For real?
Yes.
So this was the place that you lived in Iowa, and after seeing these horror films, after seeing the Amityville Horror, you kind of, did that give you some sort of like, oh wow, man, I'm reliving what this is?
It's just like, what do you want to believe in anymore? You know, it's just like, and you have to...
Science goes out the window when that occurs,
little bit,
right?
A little bit, yeah. And
there's just no answers.
Well, and when your own parents can't answer these questions, and you have these oh, what is this? What, you know, what's causing these footsteps upstairs? What's causing this black stuff to come out of our toilet? And
what did happen in the house? What were some of the things? Well, were those the things did that black stuff really come out of your toilet?
Yes.
That's so Amityville.
Yeah.
So you watched the film and you're almost like...
I didn't watch the film until I was an adult.
Oh, I see. Okay, got you. Okay.
The Amityville film, and so when I watched that for the first time as an adult, I think I was well into my teens, or or so, 16 or 17. I was like, wow, this is really the kind of stuff that happened when we were living in this house in Fort Dodge, and it just made me think a bit. It's like, oh, maybe there is, and of course, you know, when that was all going on, you know, I don't know. Like, I didn't know what to believe. We were going to church. We were church-going people.
Right.
And they told us, oh, it's demons. And demons. And it's like, you know, what does that mean?
It seems so far-fetched.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, it's really hard to, like, nail it down when people say demons.
Right. It's like, what does that mean? I don't believe in that. You know,
demons,
it's like...
you know, like, it's like leprechauns.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Leprechauns are doing it. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, but there was something definitely there that we can't explain, and it's something that I've wanted to research my whole life and figure out. So
there's something about like demon possession and like hauntings that in some ways to me is more scary than like Fred, well, I don't know, Fred Krueger's pretty weird, but you know, just a guy with an axe.
Sure.
You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
just kind of there. There's something that's just like deeper and darker and like more unexplained than
Right.
like someone who's like physically stabbing people.
Yeah.
So does that freak you out more so than that? As a result?
Yeah, something that we can't explain, we can't control. So the thing is, we can control, well, we not necessarily control when, you know, a murderer comes about and, you know, in the
Right.
middle of the night or whatever, but it's just like, we can control psychology, or we can help
It's more
these people.
human, right?
It's more human,
Yeah.
right. And these things that aren't so human, these supernatural things,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like, I don't want to call it supernatural because it is natural. It's all
Yeah,
natural.
I suppose, yeah.
And I think eventually
unexplained.
science, it's unexplained.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I think that's what makes it a little bit more scary.
Sure.
And
Demon possession was always freaking me the shit out, though. I mean, clearly, like, they haven't made anything as good as The Exorcist, and that movie still holds its water above
absolutely.
any other possession film, at least in my eyes.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
And why do you think that is? Because, well, you know, that there have been cases of exorcisms in the past,
Sure.
right? That it hasn't really been explained as well. You know,
Yeah.
demonic possession as a human being or a house or whatever it is. You know, you look at these people that are supposedly possessed by a demonic force or
Yeah.
whatever, and you can say like, oh, okay, this is we can explain this away with psychology, or this person's having a psychotic episode,
Sure.
or you know, but
They're just
when they
sociopathic.
start when they start reciting Latin and they've never learned Latin in their entire life,
Right.
you know, and it's just like, and it's like dead on, and or this voice that comes out of their throat, and it's not their voice,
Right.
and they start there's just, it's like there's something to this.
How old were you when that happened?
I was about 6 years old when the footsteps started happening in the house.
All right, so as a kid, like, there's a certain aspect of your mind that is open to anything that can happen, which is cool. At 6, you're still kind of like this kind of spongy kind of human, right?
Right.
But also at 6, like, you're now as an adult reflecting back. Can you imagine how you would interpret and deal with things as an adult versus a child? I mean, it almost seems surreal, doesn't it?
I think about it all the time.
Really?
Yeah, I think about, like, if I were in my parents' shoes or my mom's shoes at the time, dealing with this, how would I have dealt with it? And you know, it's hard to put myself in that place because I haven't experienced that as an adult or ever since.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't experienced a haunting or demonic possession, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And so it's like, and I don't want to reject the fact that it was a real thing that happened to me, because it was a real thing.
Yeah.
And just because I was young when it happened, you know, people say, "Oh, well, it's just like your memory is you know."
I hate when people try to explain.
You know, they
away.
write it off,
Yeah,
and,
it's
and,
bullshit.
and it's like, well, I had to recently interview my mom and my brother and talk about this because it was something that I needed to go through as an adult and be, you know, psychologically talk about.
Yeah, I get it.
Because
Kinda
it
like vent.
affected
Yeah.
me. And you know, because I think eventually I want to make a movie about this. I want to
Oh, you
make a
should.
film, and yeah. So and it's like I think I've watched all these horror films and things. You know, watching Amityville, that was the closest thing I could possibly say to what I experienced as a kid.